And trying. Yeah, I know I ain't perfect. I've been living in the world that's been telling me that I'm worthless. Make it better. Crying don't make it better. They wanna know I never quit, I never give up, cause I'm trying. But the world I live in, you know that they be violent. And I don't hear no violence in this. Lord, you know, Lord, you know. I'm trying to live my life righteous. I am righteous. CC, what's going on, CC? I seen you and your best friend put up a video. I'm gonna have to go over and check it out. I ain't watched it yet. How y'all doing today? How's your Monday been? Dude, I had this scheduled for the 14th. I scheduled early in the morning. I was like, man, what's going on? Why ain't it going off yet? That's why. I had to schedule for the wrong date. We're gonna be sitting down talking about the 5 things that I do during fall to prep myself up for success for next year. You know, most of my stuff I do in ground. I believe in growing in ground. I do got some beds, but most of my stuff is in ground. I was at plant exchange. You get any plants? You have good soil, yes, in ground is the best. Yet I grew it in some plants. Got some plants. Oh, what kind of plants you get? Yeah, you can turn the bad soil into some good soil with just a few simple things that you can get free that's already around most people's house anyway and yard. So like I said, for here, the first 3 years that I started trying to do an annual garden here, oh my God, it was terrible. I was tilling. I was adding so much compost. I was adding, and nothing ever did good for about the first 3 years. I mean, nothing until I start. I have a video coming out. Okay. Until I started using my leaves and wood chips. And when I started doing that, man, stuff turned around for me a great deal. Rambo Green Hands, what's going on, bro? How you doing? But one of the first things, I got 5 things that I usually do in fall to prep myself up for a better spring, hopefully a better productive spring than the year before. You know me, I don't care too much about going out buying all of these fertilizers and potting soils, but I will if I catch them on sale. And if I need some, I'll have to. Trying to feel that soil with nature around. Oh yeah, oh yeah. You got to. I mean, that's the most effective way to do it. Is our fall leaves, our grass clippings. Ooh, that right there gives your soil just about almost everything it needs. But I was talking about the 5 things I usually do. I'm glad y'all in here. I appreciate it. If anybody might catch this on the replay, thank you. But the first thing I usually do is cut my herbs back. My perennial herbs that I have in ground. Far as see, I got chocolate mint, lemon balm, oregano, rosemary, no sage no more. My sage died last year, and it was 3 years old. Thyme. I had one thyme plant that I started, man, like 7 years ago. It lasted for 5 years. Lemon thyme. And what I usually do, I cut them back. I cut them back a lot of the foliage off, but I'll still leave them a little bushy. They'll have some protection, and I shred my leaves up. So my leaves go around them, and I might add a layer of wood chips if I got them. If I don't, it's just leaves. Them leaves gonna break down to humus, and it's gonna feed your soil. Lord's garden, how you doing today? Saying I had no luck with the sage growing to you. Yeah, my sage here usually for 2 years. After 2 years, oh man, did that just flicker? After 2 years, it seems like my sage just dies. Time usually lasts me about 5 years. I put everything in ground. Oh yeah, I got spearmint too. We can paint it. I appreciate you coming. Feedback. You hearing feedback? Miss JoJo, how you doing today? Yeah, but the first thing I do, like I was saying, is cutting my herbs back and insulating the roots. Sound like I'm in a tunnel. Probably this laptop. I had a mic, and the mic was giving me a whole lot of feedback, so I stopped using that. But yes, that's the first thing I do. Be cutting my herbs back, mulching in them roots, so it tuck them in for the winter. Just put that blanket over. And the second thing is, if I got them, I would chip my whole area around. When I say my whole area, I mean I'm talking about around all of my fruit trees, all of my bananas, all of my blueberries. Do I prune my moringa tree? I don't have one. I don't have a moringa tree. I don't think I will have enough time to actually get that much moringa to matter here in my zone. I don't think it get big enough before it dies back. And I don't want something else I have to be bringing in and out the house. Yeah, you doing mulch right now? Yeah, that mulch gonna help to retain the moisture over the winter, and even in the summer when it's dry and hot, that mulch holds that moisture in, and it also it breaks down and feeds your soil. Some great stuff. When you see mushrooms coming up around your soil, just know your soil is working. It's out there working. It's putting in work, and it's got a lot of nutrients for your plants. Official J Mia, thank you for coming. And also, the best time of the year to get you some good compost going for the next year, the year after. There's some ways you can break down shredded leaves. Just the way I do it, I add my shredded leaves with some of my grass clipping or banana leaves or comfort leaves, and I shred them all up, and I put them in either one of my big trash cans with holes in it, or I'll just put it in a regular trash bag, a big trash bag. And by that next spring, I got that amount of compost already ready, and it's not, you don't have to do all that turning and stuff. Another thing, I found a way you can get a lot of free. It's like 511. It might be even a little bit better than 511. But I don't know what's all in 511. But everybody got a creek, a lake, or something around there, close around their house or wherever you living. It's so easy to take a 5-gallon bucket and just dip some water out and haul it back. And that stuff, it's got all the fish has been living in there, so it's got all kind of poop. Stuff done died. Fish done died off in there. It's just natural resources. That saves us a lot of money because that 511 is getting higher and higher, man. Higher and higher. And one of the fourth thing I usually do is my fruit trees. And I mainly prune my fruit trees for size and anything that's dead or anything that's growing inward. And I usually do it right after. You can do it right after you pull all your fruit off. Or you can do it right after it drops all its leaves. Some people, most of the time I do it too in the summertime. I call it a summer pruning. And that's more like to control the height too, because you know how trees grow in the summer. Once that spring start coming out and they take off, well, them roots been just sleeping and getting bigger all winter long. They take off like a rocket, and you'll have branches just shot out way out. And if you wait most of the time to fall to cut them branches, sucker branches out, that's what I call them, the ones that growing straight up or straight inward. If you wait, imagine how thick them things are. Imagine how much nutrients it done took from that tree that whole summer, just putting them branches on that you don't even want in the first place. So after mine fruit, if they fruit, I go around and I'll spec and I'll do my summer pruning. Then in fall, I do another pruning just mainly for anything dead. Still looking for my height control because I don't want to be up on a ladder pulling stuff. And I'm also looking for anything growing inward. And some trees I prune for a fruit set. Some of the older trees. And you also, when you're doing these pruning, you keeping a lot of stuff from overwintering inside your tree or getting in your tree. So it's also for disease control and pest control. I know we don't like to do it. Yeah, the growth is so much. I have to prune my plum and pear trees right back because it is way too tall. Yeah, you do. Do you prune your blueberry bushes? Yes, I do. And I do it right after I pick all the blueberries off. If I notice some dead branches or something that's interfering with another branch, I go ahead and prune that off right then. But most of the time I wait till most of the leaves fall off. So I mean you can see it a little bit better. And then you can check for a lot of diseases. You can see diseases a lot better and pests a lot better when you don't have leaves on. Same way with my grapes. I do the grapes the same way. Also, what I do, if I got enough, I also add compost around my fruit trees and my grapevines, all of that during this time of the season. And I don't do it like most people do. Most people take back all the wood chips and then they'll add it and they put the wood chips back. I don't do that because I'm trying to build my soil because I'm on mostly clay here. Mostly clay. You know, clay get compact. It got a lot of nutrients in it. Don't get me wrong. Clay has got a lot of nutrients in it, but it gets compact. And them roots, it's hard to break through them if the soil don't stay really moist all the time. Pause. If the soil don't stay very wet, then it's hard for them roots to get through them. So when I'm building up in layers, that's putting that much more nutrients up there, and it's causing the worms to come up deeper right to get that compost, and it's creating a lot of air holes. Blueberries, I need more blueberry plants because I want to have one tree. I need more berries. Yeah, the more different varieties of blueberries you got, the more actually fruit buds that'll set off. This time of the year is the best time for us around our local big box stores to get our blueberry plants because they got them for like half off. I was at Lowe's, I think it was Saturday. They had some nice sized bushes for like $10, $12. They still ain't put them trees on sale though, which is only one tree I really want. It's that Oreo, and I ain't found one of them yet. We don't even care here. And one of the last things I do, I'll probably have to start doing it next. I think it'll be this coming Sunday or Monday, since I haven't got my greenhouse up yet. I'm gonna have to bring all my citrus trees in and my guava trees. And, you know, everybody worry about them fruit gnats and fruit flies. I got that tool or insect netting. If you just cover the entirety of the top of the soil with that and pin it down, I use with some little staple nails. They're probably about this big. I don't know what the size of them. And I just pin them down, and that keeps them fruit flies and fruit gnats from if there's any inside them soil, it keeps them from coming up through it. Did it work? First time I did it was last year. It worked perfect. Didn't have no fruit gnats in the house until spring when I starting my seeds, and I was bringing them the potting soil that I got from the seeding mix that I got from the store, and in the house, and that's when I started seeing the little fruit gnats. But that insect netting or tool is very tool I think is cheaper than insect netting, and you can find that at places like Bath Body and Beyond. I think that's where my wife got it from anyway. I wait too. No cheap prices here where I'm at. No. Get over here and lay down. Lay down. They get started when they see something outside, a rabbit or something. They get to going crazy. I know that's what it was. She done seen a rabbit or squirrel or something. But yeah, them is the 5 things I usually do around here to prepare myself for a better spring. As far as my garden sections, pretty much I'll redo those. I'll add leaf compost down around there, especially if I ain't growing nothing. If I'm growing greens or something in it, most of the time I will not until the greens get a little bit bigger. Because, you know, it tends to bring in some of the compost as far as roly-polies and snails and slugs. That's what they're there for. But everything else, it gets it. In that garden, it'll get some fresh compost or chicken manure. Just simple little tips and stuff that we can do to set ourselves up for a better spring. Protecting your herbs is the main thing, especially if you got perennial herbs you have for a while. Cut them back, utilize that over the winter. Mulch them babies in with some good leaf mulch or regular wood chips to keep us base warm. Pruning back your dead plants, cutting that out, using that for your compost. Doing that little trick I told you about the shredded leaves and the grass clippings in a garbage bag with some holes in it so it'll get aeration. It'll break down a lot faster than just doing it a whole big compost pile. Cut back my fruit trees, pruning, looking to control the height, anything dead, anything growing inward. And also around that time, I usually spray my trees too for that first application with copper fungicide and dormant oil. I also spray copper fungicide on my Concord grapes because they get that black rot. The apples and the pears mainly is for cedar apple rust because we got a lot of cedar trees around here. And the last one is just caring for my citrus trees and my container trees. If I'm bringing them in, tool around the base of the soil. You can still water through it, or insect netting, whichever. You can still water through it, but it won't allow them fruit flies and gnats to come up through that soil if it's any eggs off in there. That helps a lot. And I also, before I bring them in, like a week before I bring them, which I got to do today, I don't use nothing harsh. I just use insecticide soap or some type of detergent and water, and I'll mist them down a couple times real good before I bring them in. That way it kills off any insects or eggs or anything that's laid on it. So when I bring them in, I ain't bringing something else in with them. And if I do got them in the house, I got to mist them every day with water just to keep that humidity up on them. Like sometimes that's where we go wrong when we bring stuff in the house. We don't keep the humidity up on them, and we water them way too much. Trees in the wintertime don't require that much water. Most of the time I stick my finger down in it. I do have a moisture meter. I'm a gardener. I can't never find nothing when I need it. So I stick my finger down about knuckle deep. If it's dry that far, I go ahead and water. Usually I only water them once a week anyway. Yeah, that's just some of the things that I do over the fall and winter to try to set myself up for a better year. Also, it's around this time of year, I'm making a lot of changes. It's like I'm cleaning up strawberry patches. I'm cleaning up my grapevines. My grapevines, the same way. I prune them back to 2 notes on each cane I want to leave. I shorten the length out. Anything that's growing up the trunk, I take off. And I'm actually moving them forward. So I make a lot of changes. That's why I don't make stuff temporary, because I'll see if something is struggling in this spot all year long. Think, well, maybe it's because it's that spot. It's getting too much sun or it's not getting enough sun. So I'll wait through the fall when it drops all its leaves, and I'll move it to a location I think it'll do better. I move stuff all the time. Like, and stuff that's not doing good, I'll take cuttings of something that is doing good, root it, then I'll put that in its place, and whatever I took out, I just put it up towards the back fence row where the animals can have it or whatever. If we get abundance on it, then we'll harvest some and the animals can have some. If it's not producing like I want it to, I'm gonna try to find something that is. Ain't no sense in keeping something that's struggling all the time. I mean, you can keep it, just put it somewhere out of the way. That's what I usually do. But yeah. I seen Presbyterian was on. I was like, man, I was about to, because I had this set for I did it early in the morning. Let me talk like 4:30 in the morning. I set this up. And I had the date set for the 14th instead of today's date. And they ain't changed it to like 5 or 6 minutes before it even, about 10 minutes before it started when I realized it. So I appreciate the people that came through, the conversation we had for this little 50 minutes, 25 minutes. Just something I do to prepare myself, like I said, for a better next year. And then prices at the store don't go down. I think ours usually don't start going down until about the middle of this month, maybe the end of this month. Then we'll start seeing some of the trees that they hadn't got rid of. They'll start going down to a little bit of nothing. But about most of the time by then, you don't even want to buy them because they're so root bound or they just look terrible. They're like they're about half dead. Miss Miller, how you doing today? Nice to see you too. Well, they just half dead. You know, it's so much stuff going on in the world right now. Pray for everybody that was in that storm and it's in the path of this new storm that's coming through. I appreciate it. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm trying to pray this world. Trying to pray this world. We all going through something right now. We all going through something. The storms for the last 6 or 7 years, like people passing away left and right. And it's crazy. So I'm always praying for this world. The world's crazy to stay away. It makes you feel like it. You know, we as human beings, we weren't meant to be alone now. You know what I'm saying? We get to socialize with each other. We meant to stay alone from everybody at all times. I know the world makes you feel like something. You know, you can't go nowhere without seeing something. You know, it's always the world. It's always beauty in this world. You just gotta find it. It's like it's always beauty in the garden. Like I always say, I plant so much variety. It's because, for one reason, I'm a growing fanatic. Shawnee, how you doing? Well, for another reason, it's like you gotta have diversity. I think. Say your pears don't do good this year, but what if you got more abundance of strawberries? Or say your pears or your strawberries didn't do good, but you got so much blueberries. It's always if you plan for it, you're gonna have it. It don't matter if one thing don't do good. Like this year, I didn't get no pears, no apples, no peaches. But I got what? I think like 11 pounds of strawberries, 8 or 9 pounds of blueberries and blackberries together. I mean, it's always something. It's always something that's gonna get in grapes. I got like 9 pounds of grapes off of one vine. I don't even think I counted all the ones off of that Niagara grape. It's unreal. But that's what you plan for. That's what you want to see. The only thing I want to see is how to figure out how I can keep all this stupid Bermuda grass from crawling all over everything every day. So I can quit pulling weeds all the time. And that gets depressing. That gets you frustrated. But yeah, man. Just like right after all that storm and stuff happened, it might have been a couple days before. One of the other. I went outside and was looking around and stuff, and I seen my first turmeric flower. First one I seen with these eyes up close. If I was on YouTube or something like that. And it was just a sign of beauty. And at the same time, see hummingbirds all flying all over. It seems like to me, I mean, there's a lot of good signs in this world. I know people's crazy, and this world the weather is going crazy. It's like, I think it was about 5 or 6 years ago, the place I worked at as my second job on the weekends, that's all I worked was Friday, Saturdays, and Sunday. It got hit by a tornado on like, I think a Monday. Destroyed the whole building. Destroyed it. People I know who worked there got hurt, and some people got hurt and everything. If it was happened one day earlier, I would have been in that building. I just know I need more. I can always give away excess, but when I end up with none, one thing I get grumpy. I love hummingbirds. They're amazing. Yeah, they are amazing. Yeah, I do get grumpy too when stuff don't produce, but it's usually always something else it does outshines it. And them hummingbirds are dangerous, man. I'm telling you. It's one of I was bragging on a live now, and I was showing people pictures of this hummingbird over here on these dove cannons. And I was walking by, that thing come around and almost took my head off. I had to duck. They might be running away from disaster. Yeah, they could be. But ever since I've been growing stuff here, we see hummingbirds all the time. They love it comfrey. They love them dwarf cannas. And we used to put out bird feeders, but we've seen so much mixed information about how it's doing hummingbirds with that nectar you buy and all this other stuff. It's crazy. So we quit putting out that stuff. I mean, now they just got the natural stuff we got here. You saw it, yeah. Trying to take me out. They disrespectful. Like these squirrels around here. That's why these dogs, boy, they be going crazy. See, I got a fence all the way around my yard, so they can't get out to them when they're on the outside of the fence. But man, they want to get them squirrels so bad. They're just so disrespectful. And when I'm at work, they locked up in here in the house. They can't get out. And then when I go outside, I see little holes where they've been digging over by my figs or something. It's disrespectful. If they do, stay in their lane. Yeah. Stay in your lane and keep my groceries out your mouth. It's none of their business what I'm growing right now. They're gonna mess around and find out when I lay these hang what I warned them about. Yeah, but I appreciate y'all coming. Just the 5 things that I do to prepare myself for a better spring and try to keep my herbs alive during the winter. We get cold here. To keep my try to keep my fruit trees, the size control, see any dead branches, insect pressure that I might notice while I'm doing my pruning. Same way with my grapevines. I gotta prune them because if you leave too much close together, you're probably gonna get a big mess. I grow mine up on a single line, well, 2 lines sometimes, but for mainly just a single line. And I got 8 vines. I think I actually got like 14 now, but my main 7 vines, I try to keep them just up on that one top row, so I can't leave so much on there. But I can still, off just that section of grapes, like the Niagara, I can still get. I think last year I got 11 pounds of grapes just off of that section. That section is maybe 20 foot long. So each one of them got about 20 foot to grow, and that's not much. But they put on a lot of grapes, and that's a lot. That's a lot for us. Plus plenty left over. But yeah, pruning, utilizing my leaves for my compost and insulation for my bananas and some of my trees, and it breaks down to feeds them over the spring and the winter. What's better? Just free. Like I was saying about the 511, we can save a lot of money on here trying to buy a 511 from the stores, which don't got outrageous expensive. Just by stopping down at your creek with a 5-gallon bucket and dipping some water out. GT, what's going on, bro? It's got all kind of fish poop, dead fish, all of that stuff, all that good stuff, and it's free. Just a little alternative. My citrus and the guavas and stuff. Case in 55, I appreciate you coming. I use a tool or insect netting to cover the root, to cover the soil, pin them down with some of them little, they like little nails, U-shaped nails. I forgot what you call them. I'll just stick them in there and it'll keep it. You can water over top and everything, but it keeps them it keeps them fruit flies, eggs, if there's any in the soil, from coming up and being all over your house. Also spray them with just insecticide soap and water, or detergent and water. I'll spray them like a week before I bring them in, or put them in the greenhouse, whatever. I'll spray them then, and then I might spray them the day before. And that just kills off any eggs that's on it. It's going to kill off any bugs that's on it. It's going to keep bugs from getting on it. Do you cut back your figs or just let them die back? A friend gave me a fig tree and told me to put it in the ground, mulch, and cut it back. You can cut it back because especially the first year, I would try to cover as much as I could with either some wood chips or some straw up to a certain point and cut back some, because one thing about it, if you cut back a fig and if it does survive, then you just lost the whole crop off of that, because that old wood will produce a braver crop in the spring once it starts growing. That'd be the first things to pop out, the ones that left on that old wood. So if you cut them back, you'll lose that braver crop. If you insulate them, you might be able to keep them. That's why if they real tall, I would cut them back for so far like I do mine. I cut mine back so far. I leave about 3 canes, and I insulate them with straw or some wood chips up to a certain point. So if them points don't die, then I can get some braver crops off of that when spring start popping out, when it start growing. Renee's Secret Garden, how you doing? I appreciate you being here. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, it's just some tips of something I think. Well, it ain't no really tips. It's just things that I do around here. And it saves me money because I don't have to go out and spend all this money on everything. And I think it's a lot better anyway than anything that you can buy from a store or anything. It's like compost and stuff you buy from a bag. You don't know how long that compost has been sitting in that bag. It starts leaching out nutrients after a while. It's not as potent as it was. Even the garden soil that you buy and stuff, it said it feeds 6 to 8 months. You don't know how long it's been in that bag. You don't know if water been in it, if it had holes in it and then leached out. All that stuff is a factor. And then all this sun beating on it. It's just like your soil if you don't cover it. It's something that sun is beating down on that soil all the time. So it's compacting it. It's compacting it. When you get soil from the store and it's real compact, and I'm telling how long it's been in that bag. And that soil has been just being beat down with that sun inside that bag. So it's killing off a lot of the beneficial nutrients and that feed that you actually really need. Putting in the house and not outside. I am in Michigan. Girl, yeah. Cold in Michigan. Yeah, it's real cold in Michigan. Yeah, but that's just some of the things that I do. I figure I'll share that. Maybe y'all want to know. Mrs. T with the T, how you doing? I'll share them few tips that I do around here to see if y'all want to try to do some of the same, save some of that money. Because everything ain't about money. They want us to make us think because we see this stuff on TV or on YouTube that that's what we got to do. It don't. Happy Mac. I spoke to you already, I think. I hope so. I think I've seen you in forever. And we ain't got to buy all that stuff. The stuff we can make on our own is a lot better than the stuff we buy from the stores anyway. Oh, you welcome. It was making me think on things. Yeah. Yeah, we got enough we got to worry about every day. Enough money we spend on all this, for all these unnecessary stuff we should not spend money on. But anyway, I always said, it's outrageous when you got to finance a mattress. Dude, anytime you got to finance a mattress, the simple thing like a mattress, boy, something ain't right with this world. We financing mattresses now. Man, how much a mattress is? That's ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. That's the way this world is. Yeah, but I appreciate y'all coming. And like I always say, finance a mattress. Yeah, you got to finance a mattress. You know how much a mattress is now? A king size mattress, because most people got king size mattresses in their house. That's just a mattress set. Can run you anywhere from $1,300 to $3,800. $1,300 to $3,800. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And like I said, I appreciate y'all coming. I'm gonna go ahead and jump off here. But like I always say, if God be for you, who could be against you? If God be with you, whom shall I fear? If no one knows you, still his heart adores you. You are safe. You are loved. You are healed. Yes, you are. Y'all stay blessed. I'll see y'all here in these YouTube streets.